Best Care specializes in helping seniors who wish to remain in their home but need assistance. Our flexible care programs vary from hourly to live-in. Simply put, we're there when you need us. And Always Best Care is a DHS-approved Medicaid provider. Call today and we'll meet with you to develop a personalized care plan. Always Best Care Senior Services. Doing more, caring more, and dedicated to exceeding your expectations always.
Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right-hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here. Did you know?
Hello and welcome to the Did You Know Show. My name is Brian Green, and today's guests are from an organization called DAPI, the Delaware Adolescent Program Incorporated. And with me today I have Dr. Doris Griffin, Anita Corley, Eileen Wilkerson, and Mila Hathaway. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I got to tell you, I told you before the show, I'm very excited to talk with DAPI. DAPI is an organization that helps young women in terms of young teenage pregnancy, right? And so it was founded in 1969, right?
Yes.
And so tell me about the program. Dr. Griffin.
Okay, well, we had the privilege of serving pregnant and parenting teens statewide here in the state of Delaware. And what I mean when I talk about serving, we had the opportunity to provide quality education as well as offering a holistic experience, which would include social services, mentoring, college and career readiness, and a host of other things in addition to maternal health. So we try to run the gamut, and if we don't have it, we try to get it because we want our students to be successful. And when I say students, let me say we call our students DAPI daughters. Why is that? Because you said you had a daughter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And you want your daughter to have the best, I would assume. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You'd want her to be exposed to the best, correct?
That's correct.
You'd want her to marry the best. Is that correct?
If she wants to.
Live the best.
Yes.
Do the best. I always say then, why would we want anything less for our DAPI daughters? So we are willing to go to the high heavens to provide excellence and expose excellence to our DAPI daughters in hopes that they will be successful. We are not raising statistics, we're raising standards.
Wow. And so we have with us, we're sitting here at the Newcastle Center of DAPI location, and the center director is Arnita Corley. What's going on here?
Lots of things. Every day is different.
Okay.
So as our students come in, and of course the core component of this program is providing a quality education so that our students can continue on with their education and be able to graduate on time and with their class. So we provide the academic program. We have community partners that come in and facilitate group sessions centered around parenting, health and nutrition, career readiness.
What's the enrollment here? Is it how many students do you have on campus, if I can ask?
Currently, I have 16 students enrolled at the Newcastle County.
Okay.
Yes.
And so what is it like? What is the day in the life of Newcastle Center? What time does classes start and that kind of thing? Is it a typical setting?
Yes. So our students arrive at 8:30 in the morning. Breakfast starts at 8:30 to 9 o'clock, and school begins from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
So it's a typical day. We have a rotation of classes where at the Newcastle County Center, the 7th and 8th graders are on the same rotation, as well as the 9th and 10th, and then 11th and 12th graders.
Oh, wow. So then, okay, so that's a question I can back it up. I was under the impression it was just for high school students, but no, it sounds like middle school students as well, right?
Yes, yes,
And so,
absolutely.
how does one find out about the Newcastle? You know, we're on Telegraph Road, right? What's the address here?
1621 Telegraph Road in Wilmington, Delaware.
All right, and so then if you look at the bottom of your screen, you can see the phone number and you can see the website and how you can get information and that kind of a deal. And then we move on to Eileen. Eileen Wilkerson is our Kent Center director. And you have some new pilots going on down there.
I do. Our newest pilot is called APCO, the Adolescent Parenting Connections, and we are servicing some pregnant and parenting teens within the high schools, and actually in middle schools as well. So one of the things that's been in my experience that helps a young lady to be successful is support. So we were noticing that some students were choosing to stay in their home schools, but they still needed support. So we decided to take DAPI to them. And so myself and the social service coordinator in Kent County go to about 3 or 4 other schools that are in the Kent County. So we service and meet with the students that have chosen not to come to DAPI. And so we're providing them with lessons, life skills, support, services, diapers, wipes, things just that simple that they may need, education on child care, how to pick the right child care, labor and delivery, and then they're able to connect with each other because they're going through things that nobody else in the schools are going through by being pregnant or parenting. So that is our newest pilot that we're doing right now in Kent County. And
so we moved down to Mila. Mila Hathaway is our Sussex County Center Director, and Mila, you were how we got connected through one of our community outreach coordinators, Dupree Johnson. I believe he sits on your advisory board.
So. He does. He's been a big help. He joined our board, our council, in the fall, and he's been a very, very active member. He's attended all the meetings, and he will check in with me, periodically just to ask how things are going. He's been a wonderful resource and, helped us make, connections. We're located at the Stokely Center on Patriots Way in Georgetown. And he has a church on the Stokely Center campus. There's a lot of organizations and offices there. So that was, how we made the connection.
How many students do you have down on your campus?
We currently have 12.
12? Okay, Natalie, how many students do you have on your campus?
We have 13.
13? Okay, and so, collectively, the curriculum is centered around a school curriculum. You teach languages and that kind of thing. I guess my question would be, for a teenage mother, obviously they're dealing with something more than your average student. Do you guys have support group classes or support groups and sessions and counseling sessions?
So that's what, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When people normally ask, we get the question all the time, well, why would I come to DAPI? What's different than a traditional school? And so in Kent County, we have what we call group, and our maternal health and nurse educator facilitates that. And so not only do they get their academics when they're with us, but they also get life skills. We have partnerships with community partners such as the food bank, Parents as Teachers. The DMV comes to my center in AAA to teach the young ladies how to put the car seats in the car.
Oh, wow.
Food bank helps with teaching them how to utilize their WIC vouchers, how to cook. And so we just have various different things that are teaching them how to be successful citizens. So like Dr. Doris said, we're not raising statistics, we're raising standards. And so we're preparing them to be successful citizens and not have to rely on a system when they graduate or leave the DAPI program.
And also, we also partner with Center for Child Development.
Oh, wow.
So there is a therapist that comes to the center on a weekly basis, and it is mandatory for all the students to participate in a counseling sessions, and we found that that's going very, very well.
Do you guys keep up with the students that have graduated? Do the alumni come back and support and share success stories and that kind of deal? What's your experiences?
I'm one.
Are you a DAPI daughter?
I'm a DAPI daughter.
Oh, right on. Okay, well tell
So
us.
the system works.
The system works. Well, share. Come on, share. A DAPI daughter.
Yes, yes. I attended DAPI when I was 15.
Okay.
And I was a junior in high school, and I loved the program so much because of the support that they provided me as a young mom, not only with academically, but the relationships that I built at the Delaware Adolescent program. And I was able to transition back to my home school and graduate on time. Wow. So I loved it so much. Actually, after I graduated, a couple years after, I came back to volunteer, and I've just been a part of the program because it's a part of me, and now I'm the center director.
And then you have kind of a kinship with the students. You know, you can take them aside and talk to them, and if you don't mind me saying, get them together.
Yes.
You know, 'cause a lot of times, you know, I own a home care agency, right? And so I manage a workforce that is from, you know, my youngest caregiver is sometimes 18, and my oldest caregiver is in their 70s. But what I find with a lot of young people sometimes, and some older people, but young people in particular, I find they don't just have a plan. And you know, we all know we need a plan. And sometimes you don't know how to develop a plan. You know, when we take a break, why don't we come back and talk about planning?
Okay.
Are we with that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
stay tuned. Don't leave us. Come on back. We're going to continue our conversation with DAPI, the Delaware Adolescence Program Incorporated.
Did you know?
Taking care of my mother is so hard. All my life, she gave me the best care she could. Now it's my turn. I have to find my mom the best care.
At Always Best Care, our caregivers are matched to meet your needs. And we even give you access to on-call, round-the-clock physician support, along with your in-home care. If you need help with your mom or dad, call 1-302-409-3710 or visit alwaysbestcaredelaware.com.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. Today's guest, the lovely ladies, the leadership team of DAPI, the Delaware Adolescence Program Incorporated. And when we left for our first break, we were talking about succession planning. And so, Dr. Griffin, can you tell us about how you help young people with developing a plan?
We are committed to ensuring that there is some sustainability as far as success is concerned. So what we have done this year is we have secured a facilitator to specifically help our students walk through career exploration and then develop each plan as far as what will happen when a student completes working with us here at DAPI. What school will they go to next? Is higher education an option? Is a certification program needed? Who are the mentors or the people that will walk alongside to assist the person? So a complete plan will be prepared for the student to have access to when they leave DAPI. But more importantly, DAPI will keep a digital copy of that plan, so if for whatever reason that plan gets lost on the student's part, they have the ability to contact DAPI so that we are able to assist them get back on track.
So we were talking off the air break. How does a young woman get enrolled in the various plans? Is it the same for each center? Do you guys have rolling admissions? You know, if for those parents or those students that are dealing with this teenage pregnancy, how do they find out more information? I know that the website is at the bottom of the screen, but what do they do? How do they enroll? Who wants to take it first? Anita, Eileen, Mila?
So the school counselors, the majority of the time, we hear from the school counselors inquiring about our program for a student.
Okay.
So the school counselors at the public schools, charter schools, all of the schools in the state of Delaware, because the student must be enrolled within a school setting.
Okay.
So that's how the majority that have come in contact in my program, a school counselor or word of mouth, a friend may know a friend who would like to come to our program as well.
Can they just call? Can they just call Kent County or Sussex County or Newcastle County? Can they just call and inquire or get an appointment? How does that work? Do you guys have, in terms of, I guess that question is bleeding into admissions. How does that work?
Right. So they definitely can call us,
Okay.
and then we can redirect them on the actual process of how it's done. So Anita is absolutely right. The guidance counselors are kind of our gatekeepers. We have an MOU with all of the high schools in the state of Delaware.
What's the MOU?
Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay. Because for people like me that was like MOU, what does that mean?
Right.
Memorandum of Understanding. Okay.
Let me just say a little bit more about that. The Memorandum of Understanding is with every school district, just like Eileen shared. So the superintendent signs an agreement with us every year that says that we have the authority to educate and provide the credits and the grades for the students that they are entrusting us to serve for the school year.
Okay.
So the guidance counselors, we schedule a review of admissions, and at that time, we have a meeting with the school, the guidance counselor, a representative, the DAPI family, or prospect, and then the DAPI staff. And at that time, we sit at the table and figure out if this is the right placement for that DAPI daughter. We go over the academics to assure that, we're able to give them the classes that they need so that they're in line for graduation. We go over the attendance and also their behavior. And collectively, as a team, we decide whether this is the right place for DAPI, because at the end of the day, we want them to complete their education. So if DAPI can't do it, then we also provide them with resources so that they still can be successful at wherever they are. So we take it very seriously to make sure, because at the end of the day, we want them to be successful, whether they come to DAPI or they don't. So that's how they kind of get admitted at all of our centers, and it's the same thing. So, but they can definitely call each center, and then we'll put them in the right direction to get the ball rolling.
And so I guess my question then is, if somebody discovers in mid-year, I guess when I say rolling admissions, what comes to mind is if I discover that I'm pregnant in October,
Yes, sir.
can they transfer into the DAPI program then? Is that okay?
Our door is always open. We also have summer school.
Okay.
And they don't necessarily have to come to DAPI during the school year to come to summer school. We are all about pregnant and parenting teens. We want them to complete their education. So if we can help them, we will do that. And again, if we can't, we will point them into the right direction. So everything is on a case-by-case scenario.
Okay.
I can't give you a clear cut yes or no.
Okay, it's tailored to the need.
To the need of the student. You asked earlier, we service students. I think the youngest we've ever had was 11.
Okay.
All the way up into 19, unless they have an IEP, and then they could stay with us until they're 21. So.
Okay, so that answers another question. So if you have a student that had previously maybe dropped out of school for a period of time, or a GED track, is there hope for them at DAPI, or do you connect them to resources?
If the school receives them, then we can receive them. They have to be enrolled into a home school. That's what we call it, which would be any school within the state of Delaware.
Let's flip the script. We've been talking about the students, the potential of young teenage mothers, potential moms coming in. What about teachers? How do if I'm an educator and I want to come in and put my resume in, that kind of deal, is it the same way?
No, it's different.
It's different?
DAPI offers a blended learning experience.
Okay.
So we are utilizing a program called Play-Doh in addition to face-to-face instruction.
Okay.
And so if you are interested in teaching at DAPI, yes, you can send your resume. However, we don't have the state offerings. We don't have state employees here.
Okay.
So we don't offer the same salary. We don't offer the same benefits. So the people that work for DAPI are truly in it for the mission and not the money.
Okay. Very good. And then the flip side of that too is I know I am the result of a teenage pregnancy, as I shared with you guys before the show, and my mom's watching. Hi, Mom. And she shared with me, her experience as a teenage mom, at different times, really to kind of prepare me. And she volunteers at her church to talk to young people that have found themselves in the same kind of situation. Do you guys have volunteers here? And how does one sign up to be a volunteer?
We do have volunteers, and we are looking for more volunteers, particularly in the area of mentorship. Okay. If someone is interested in sharing, we would like to encourage them to call one of our 3 centers to offer themselves in that capacity. We will train them. They will be asked to do a background check, and then they will be matched with a student. We also offer short-term commitments because we recognize that everybody doesn't have all the time needed, and being a mentor is a commitment. Right. Because you are investing into a young person's life, and they're going to become dependent upon your presence to continue their journey. We offer something called DAPI Dialogues, which is a chat and chew at lunchtime where you can come and you can share what you are doing and how you got there and your challenges and how you've overcome. And I'm really interested in people coming to talk about how they've overcome and not coming presenting themselves as a complete package, because young people don't believe what they see. They have to be told the pathway, the bumps, the bruises. They need to see the scars from the experience in order to know, oh, I can talk to you because you understand.
Right, you're coming from what the young people say, keeping it real.
Yes.
You know, you're keeping it real, keeping it 100.
That's
right.
But the people that are watching that don't know that phrase, keeping it 100, if you're a parent, you heard your child say that, it means keeping it 100% real.
Yes.
And that's very, very, very important. I'm glad you said it that way, because a lot of times people connect with that. And they would oftentimes probably, I suspect, reveal something that they wouldn't reveal to somebody else. Because, you know, when you show, my style of management or leadership is to show my vulnerability or the mistakes that I've made, so that if I'm mentoring a young manager, supervisor, entry level or experienced, they feel comfortable enough to come to me and say, you know what, I'm about to make this mistake, or I've made this mistake. Right. So just in the same parallel to a situation with a teenage parent, sometimes they can't talk to them, they feel that they can't talk to their parents, and sometimes it's good to be able to talk to somebody outside of your sphere to kind of get you that knowledge. So let's go back to, we talked about the students, and we talked about enrollment. You guys softly said that you're connected with some organizations from the community service situation. What kind of community service do you guys do in terms of outreach? Do you guys have your students do any kind of outreach in terms of turkey drive, or, because obviously, there's a lot to do with a food bank. You mentioned that you're connected to the food bank. You know, and sometimes in my experience, it helps everybody to be able to kind of do some type of outreach. Do you guys do that, or is that something that you might do in the future?
So at my facility, I'm fortunate to have a daycare on site.
Oh.
And I am fortunate in Kent County. Our community supports us a lot. And so I'm a firm believer, if you, like you said, to whom much is given, much is required.
Right.
And so I pride on making sure that they know the different skills that you have to give back to the community. So our center does a lot with the daycare on site. And so we have, we'll have an Easter egg hunt for them. We'll bring them down so that they can read. We partner with Read Aloud as well. So, and that's for both parties. They can practice their reading, and then the small children are listening. So, and it's that constant give back. We've done food drives in the past. We've done coat drives for people in the community as well, because they need to see that. You can't always receive. You got to give something back as well. So absolutely, we do both sides outreach in that way as well.
Have you partnered with any companies to do internships? I would be interested as a company owner, maybe having, somebody down in Sussex County, maybe up here in Wilmington, coming in. We could always use another pair of hands to Kent too. Okay. Kent too. I just, my office is in Delaware, located in Milton and then in Wilmington. Okay. So we kind of, those two offices share Kent. No shade. Okay. But for a company like mine, what we found, honestly, is connecting the circle of life. In fact, my LLC is called BMG Circle of Life, right? And the idea was, a lot of times we're sending young people to help older people. And so they get the appreciation of the circle of life. Oftentimes, we bring, high school students in or college students in to help with the phones. And we find ourselves, people think, at least in my vein of home care, a lot of times people think that it's just, going in and providing care, but it is so much more than that. You have this share of experience, life experience. You get an appreciation. And one of my charities with RSVP literacy program, we've had some success with young people showing older people social media. Nobody showed my grandmother, hi grandma. Nobody showed my grandmother Facebook, but she's on Facebook now. Wow. Instead of just sitting home and watching TV, they're on social media, which is dangerous in some ways. But I mean, I'm just, in my mind, just trying to, from an employer standpoint, trying to just provide positivity, and pass that baton. Obviously, for somebody that is not old enough, I mean, if you're 15 and younger, you probably can't get a job. But if you're somebody that is, 16, 17, 18, it's probably time to start thinking about, a work readiness program. Absolutely. Do you guys have any connection with that, or is that something in the future goals that you're maybe thinking about?
College and career readiness is a focus of ours.
Okay.
We recognize that most of our young people are going to need more than a high school education, so we are exposing them to potential career options. We have a partnership with an organization in Sussex County that allows us to hire students
Oh,
on
wow.
site and
Okay.
pay them a small stipend for that experience. And so we're very excited about being able to provide some of our students that are ready to work now an opportunity to get some work experience.
Okay.
And so we are also connected to prospective employers that want to come in and talk to our students. We're always out in the community talking about, asking people to come in and talk about, you know, work ethic and work experience. And
Work ethic is important.
our teachers and our nurse and our center directors are always talking about those real life experiences so that the students do not become numb or dull in the way of understanding what's going to be needed now that they are parents. Our young people want to make money.
Yes.
And so what we want to do is we want to teach in the direction of making money legally, morally, and ethically. We don't want to see our dappy daughters dating the drug dealer to get money. We
Right.
don't want to see our dappy daughter going and selling her body to make money. So we know at the core they want to make money. So we are in the process, while they are in our care, showing them legal, moral, and ethical ways to make money, to take care. Now, we know they want to make money. We know they want to keep money. So what better way to provide an understanding that can operate as a prophylactic so that they don't have additional babies before they're ready? If I can teach you how to make $500 and take care of your baby and how much less money you will make if you continue to have more babies, then we are really doing something. And that's what we want to do.
Wow. So down in Sussex, Mila Hathaway, what connected you to Dappy? What was your, how long have you been with Dappy and what connected you to it?
I have been with Dappy about a year.
Okay.
And my heart's always with, you know, people that have, you know, where they feel like the deck is, you know, stacked against them.
Right.
I've always been like that. It started in high school, and, you know, anybody, you know, that I feel, and I guess it, you know, it comes kind of from personal experience too, where you have to kind of fight, you know, the system, and you have a lot of challenges set against you. My heart is always out to them, no matter what their battle is. So, I mean, I've been involved
All my life I had
you know,
to fight.
Like, yeah, well, you know, just, you know, understanding women's issues.
Right.
You know, I also used to work with an organization where we were, you know, we helped parents, you know, advocate for their children that had disabilities.
Okay.
You know, I was a special ed teacher, so, you know, anybody that ever had to fight the odds, you know, my heart, you know, just is with them, and I support them, and, you know, I like to, you know, see them triumph, you know, over odds stacked against them. So anyways, the timing was just right, and, you know, my heart just, I like kids, and I liked, you know, just, you know, being part of that and helping to see the girls succeed.
Eileen, what's your connection?
Oh, Lord.
How long have you been with Dappy?
I have been with Dappy almost 15 years.
Okay.
I started as a social worker
Okay.
at the Kent County site, and then I became the state social worker, and my predecessor retired, so then I became the center director.
Okay.
Listen, I live, breathe, and sleep Dappy. I absolutely love what I do, and I enjoy working with the young ladies. And they truly are my daughters. They call me the Dappy mom. They're resilient. We're talking about a lot of the things in pregnancy, or the baby is just the easy thing. They are thrown so many different things and have to overcome so many things: homelessness, substance abuse, not with them, but living in a home that suffers from substance abuse, domestic violence, just not. One of my students this year told me that she didn't feel like she existed.
Wow.
And so that took a lot just to sit and to hear that. You know, not because she was pregnant in her home, she felt like she didn't exist, period. So duly noted, we made a point to make sure, no, baby, you mean something to all of us here.
Right.
And so just little things like that. And to hear her voice now, it gives me chills. Like, okay, we helped her find her voice, and you do exist now. So when they come to school, it's all about academics. But when they come to school, we just applaud them because they have to overcome so much just to get there in the building. And then while they're there, we love on them. We support them, we educate them, and make sure that they have all of the tools and resources to be successful. So that alone, that's why I wake up every day, and they push me. I'm like, man, I'm tired. But I have to remind myself, I would expect them to come to school, so I have to come to work.
Well, you've been listening to the DAPI organization leadership team. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back on the other side. Stay tuned.
Did you know?
Always Best Care specializes in helping seniors who wish to remain in their home but need assistance. Our flexible care programs vary from hourly to live-in. Simply put, we're there when you need us. And Always Best Care is a DHS-approved Medicaid provider. Call today and we'll meet with you to develop a personalized care plan. Always Best Care Senior Services. Doing more, caring more, and dedicated to exceeding your expectations always.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. I want to remind my listeners you can check me out on WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM on Saturdays at 4 p.m. The Did You Know Show is centered around connecting people to home, community, and business resources that you ordinarily wouldn't know about. And it's my personal pleasure to be here talking with the DAPI leadership team. And I wish you guys, as I say on my radio show all the time, I really wish that you could hear some of the outtakes of what we're talking about offline. But as we come back into the show, I want to talk about the High Mark Walk. Can you tell us about what that is about?
Well, the High Mark Walk is a part of a fundraising experience. It's a 5K walk that we participate in through Blue Cross and Blue Shield High Mark each and every year. This year, it's a statewide effort where the 3 centers will convene here in Newcastle County, and we'll be at Frawley Stadium along with countless other nonprofit organizations. And so we'll be asking people to support us through that endeavor, and it's a great way to raise funds. High Mark rewards us if we reach 2,500, they will match us dollar for dollar for 2,500 and beyond.
Wow, so I'm going to skip protocol. If you're looking at the bottom of the screen, you can now see how to donate to DAPI, the Delaware Adolescent Program Incorporated. It's a 501c3 organization. And then you guys have a ribbon cutting coming up. What's that all about?
Yes, so the Newcastle County Center, we will be having our ribbon cutting ceremony on Friday, April the 12th at 10 o'clock a.m. We are excited about this event because we moved into this building last year, August 2018, so we're excited about celebrating the new experience within Newcastle County.
Wow. And so the ribbon cutting is going down on April the 12th at 10 a.m. What can we expect? Are you guys going to have raffles or anything like that?
Great question.
Yes, great question. We are in the midst of planning it now. We will have light refreshments, fun music, and ribbon cutting ceremony. We're still getting the details of the planning event together.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, they didn't know, but Always Best Care Senior Services will be providing a raffle. We'll figure out what it is. Maybe we'll do some type of raffle. We'll figure it out. You know, it's important. You know, as I said offline, this is a personal show to me because I was the result of a teenage pregnancy. And I've had the benefit of a mother that didn't throw me in the river. Lonnie, hi, thank you. But, you know, DAPI is one of these organizations that I wish my mother would have known about back in the day. You know, not that she didn't do her best and we didn't come through it, and I'm a result of what can happen with a child through a teenage pregnancy. But, you know, an organization like this is so important because even in 2019, you still have young women hiding pregnancy, you know, making poor decisions in terms of health, not getting prenatal care, you know, not really sharing what's going on, and not really feeling supported. And I want to just share that personally because, you know, you make a mistake or you know, a pregnancy, an unplanned pregnancy is a mistake, but you can turn that lemon into lemonade. Okay? And so tell us about, Dr. Griffin, tell us about the founders of DAPI. I'm interested in hearing about the foundation and how, you know, if you give us a, you know, kind of an excerpt of how it started and, you know, Dr. Lulu Nix and those folks that are still around.
Well, there was a specific nurse here in the city of Wilmington that identified that there was a high poverty situation with pregnant teens and how pregnant teenagers were getting on welfare. And I believe the nurse's name was McCusick. And
Okay.
so she contacted Dr. Nix to brainstorm how these girls were going to be supported because they were dropping out of school and they were having babies. And so Dr. Nix, along with the Junior League and countless others, came together and formed the Delaware Adolescent Program Incorporated. So here we are 50 years later, and Dr. Nix is still supporting our organization, still providing support in the way of assisting us with some grant writing for federal funding, helping us in that area. She's also providing me advisement. We talk at least twice a week. And she's very instrumental. We just met with the Lieutenant Governor of Delaware last month regarding some issues to hopefully secure some federal funding to assist us. One primary reason is for the expansion of APCO, because we want to ensure that just because a student does not come into the four walls of a DAPI location, she still has the ability to receive the outreach services that DAPI has to offer.
Wow. And so for those organizations that are watching, or those individuals that are watching, if you can find it in your heart and your budget to support DAPI, the information is right at the bottom of the screen. Where, it is a 501c3 and it is tax deductible. If you guys had your wish list, what would you like to expand it? Come on, give it to me. We'll start with you, Eileen. You over there. If you had your wish list, what would you like to expand on?
The first thing would be transportation.
Okay.
Transportation. We partnered and we've done our best with some things currently, but every student that wants to come to DAPI, we would love to be able to pick them up from their door. We don't want them standing at bus stops. We don't want them to have to go to the school or ride the school bus. You spoke about something offline, bullying. Some of our girls are still being bullied. Some by their peers and some by their teachers and their administrators in the building. So we don't want them to have to experience that. We want them to be able to pick them and their child up from their home and transport them to DAPI. So that would be the number one wish list. I think the second thing would be food. Okay. Providing them with, right now we partner, I think all of us partner with our local school districts. And it's great, good. However, the meal size or portion sizes are for the students that are within that school. And we're servicing pregnant teens or teens that are breastfeeding. So they need a little bit more. And so that would be the second thing to kind of expound apart with the food program.
Anita, what do you think?
Technology, centered around computers, smart boards, laptops, because our students, after they deliver, they go on homebound. So some of them do not have laptops or computers at home, and so that they continue on with their education and their online classes. I would love for that's the dream, to see the DAPI daughters be provided with the best technology. That's
Mila,
my
what do you
wish
think?
list.
What do you think? What's on your wish list?
I would agree with the food and with the updated technology, but down in Sussex we have a big Hispanic population. We also have a Haitian population down there, significant numbers. And so I would like to see more resources, but help with, somebody who's bilingual and can help us reach, those, communities and provide support. And also for those students, that need the language support, at our center.
So then we've talked a lot about DAPI and its core curriculum. We've talked about outreach, and we talked about rolling the missions. I'm wondering, is it a cost to get involved with DAPI? Do you have the young women? They have to have a cost. They have to pay something to join the program.
DAPI daughters do not have to pay anything.
Okay.
This is we don't receive money from the school districts.
Okay.
What we do, we receive funding from the state of Delaware through grant and aid dollars. like many other nonprofits. That's the majority of our budget. But through the generosity of foundations like Sodell, we are able to continue the service that you see today. We have funding from Morris James, where our board chair is, and we also have funding from other banks that want to support us, like M&T Bank, and individuals that consistently give to the organization. We are a United Way agency, and so we receive funding from the United Way. But is it ever really enough? No. Because we are investing in whole people. And how do you put a price tag on not just one person, but two?
Okay.
So we are in the process of increasing the service capability here for the Newcastle County Center in the way of getting on-site child care for this center. And then we're looking to continue to find additional child care arrangements in the Sussex County. In Sussex County, we have a location that is on the campus where the center is located, but we see that we need even greater partnership with other daycare providers. I also wanted to share that because of the day and time that we live in, we make sure that our teachers and staff are informed about trauma-informed care.
Oh, wow.
Because our young people have experienced trauma, if only to experience that of being a pregnant teen. But all of our young people have experienced far more than just being pregnant. So in order to provide them now with quality care, we have to stay abreast of current trends and how to work with our young people, because we do want them to be successful. You see, the traditional school is just catching up to what DAPI has already been doing. DAPI's been providing services for the whole student, and now we see in public school education, they have to do the same exact thing because of the trauma that is so prevalent in the classroom of 2019.
You know, we've talked a lot about the DAPI daughters, but let's talk about the village and the way of how can parents, I mean, if I'm a parent, I am a parent, and if my child becomes pregnant, a teenage mother, then what are the resources that you offer the parents? Is there anything that the parents can latch on to not only be supportive of DAPI or their child, but obviously this is new for everybody. It's traumatic for everybody. I want to get back to the bullying because that's important. I don't want to let that go because that does happen on a lot of levels. But for the village, so we say the school district is now catching up in a lot of ways with what DAPI is doing. But a lot of times we recognize that the traditional mother and father parenting is not where the situation is. Sometimes you have the auntie or the grandmother or the grandparents taking care of the child. What kind of education or services can we attach or give to them?
Well, we've just partnered with the state of Delaware, the Division of Health and Social Services, where we now have a social worker coming to each one of our centers once a week, not just to take care of the DAPI daughter, but to extend services for whatever the family might need so that their issues can be dealt with. Housing, WIC, purchase of care, medical appointments. We've gone so far as to take a family member, if need be, to medical appointments to ensure that they get what they need. Because it does take a village. It is going to take more than a student coming to school from 9 to 3 and expecting everything to be okay.
It needs more.
It definitely needs more. And so, you asked what was the wish list. Well, my wish list would be that we would provide residential care. Now, I'm not a residential person. I've done it in my career, but I recognize that there are other organizations that could neatly partner with us statewide to provide the proper housing. Because if a child is homeless, how can we tell her you have to get your homework done? How can we expect her to study and prepare herself for the SAT and think about her future when her present is in shambles?
Wow. Or she's hungry.
Or she's hungry, or doesn't feel safe to go home, and that's real. This is real talk. This isn't, stories that were statistics that we're just pulling from. This is real life today at my center where we have to find shelter. And my leader is so grateful and gracious that she allows us to go outside of just what our job description does, because she understands that we can't just say come to school. There's other needs that have to be addressed. And so to piggyback off of what she says, that's what I've seen a lot in the last couple of years, a lot. In Kent County, I believe we have the highest rate of adolescents that are homeless.
Wow.
There is no shelter in Kent County for teenagers unless you go into foster care. And sometimes they're scared of that, because they've been in the system, so they don't want to do that. So they rather stay on the streets.
The devil that you know better than the devil that you may not know. All right, so let's take a quick break. Let's come back and then let's wind our conversation down. This has been very educational for me. As much as I thought I knew, I'm learning a lot more. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know?
Always Best Care specializes in helping seniors who wish to remain in their home but need assistance. Our flexible care programs vary from hourly to live-in. Simply put, we're there when you need us. And Always Best Care is a DHS-approved Medicaid provider. Call today and we'll meet with you to develop a personalized care plan. Always Best Care Senior Services. Doing more, caring more, and dedicated to exceeding your expectations always.
Did you know?
Welcome back to the Did You Know Show. We're having a great conversation with the leadership team from DAPI. We have Sussex County Representative Kent and Newcastle and the Executive Director Doris Griffin. We are just having a great conversation. And one of the things that came out of our conversation, again, offline, was for the young parents, for the village, be careful of what you say around children. Oh, you were a mistake. Oh, you weren't meant to be. Oh, this is, if you had to do it all over again. Words hit harder than a fist. Because at the same time that you're trying to have succession planning for your child and your situation, remember that the children are still there and they're present. And you can't put a pause on their life because you're going through something. So remember, a lot of times, young parents, that you're not the only person that's going through something. Somebody's watching. Somebody's listening. And I get back to you, to the leadership team. We were talking, offline about our wish list. As I heard it, you said technology, you had transportation, language services, and that kind of a thing. All the things that can go for, a profitability in terms of the funding of the organization. DAPI's been around since 1969. I'm going off of memory, and again, for those that follow my show online and on the Word Show and now on the TV show, you know that I am a child that was a result of a teenage pregnancy. But, because of that, I think in a lot of ways it's made me stronger. It's made me, able to have those sometimes difficult conversations with the village. It's made me appreciate the village. The village is so, so, so important. But, when you have a program like DAPI, it is one of these organizations, the Delaware Adolescent, Program Incorporated, is one of these organizations that you really, really want to kind of support. You have Mila Hathaway down in Sussex, you have Eileen Wilkerson in Kent, and you have Arnita Corley in Newcastle, who's a DAPI daughter. And, let's go back to, if you don't mind, let's go back to your experience. Some of the things that you share. What are some of the things that you being a DAPI daughter, meaning that you, were a teenage mom, what are some of the things that if you had it to do all over again in terms of the programming and that kind of thing, you obviously had a positive outcome. But what, if you could have just, turn the corner on some things, what would you have done, if you don't mind me asking?
Prior to coming to DAPI?
Yes.
Okay, so basically getting therapy.
Okay.
And dealing with the unresolved issues that resulted in trauma, because no one knows the DAPI daughter's story before they enter into the program.
Okay.
So getting therapy and really getting an understanding and putting things into perspective about my healing and becoming whole, that I will love myself so I can make better choices for myself. And so that's what I really would hone in on as far as the young lady becoming whole and dealing with the unresolved issues, so you can make better choices in building your esteem and your self-esteem, the whole self, honestly, because it was a choice, but the choice came out of various reasons.
Right.
Yes. So that's what I would, and that's why when I became the center director, I asked my director if we could obtain a therapist inside of one-on-one, not just group, but one-on-one therapy for the students that attend our program. So I kind of thought about the things that I needed
At the
time and the support that helped me while I was a DAPI student. So those are the things that I really had a passion about putting into place within the center.
Do you feel, and again, unscripted, do you feel in a lot of ways this is your day of reckoning, really helping, people, at this job? Does it give you kind of like a completeness, if you will?
Yes, fulfillment. And purpose. Because since that journey, I have worked with young parents or parents in general. That is my passion, to help parents, because our choices impact our children. So really just, I'm all about focusing on the parents to become more effective and whole in every area of their lives, so that their children can follow the same patterns.
So I said that I wanted to kind of do this, your party message. Eileen, I'm going to pick on you. Eileen Wilkerson, social worker extraordinaire.
Yeah, that's it.
Social worker extraordinaire. We did talk about your new pilots, APCO, the new student schedule programs, the formalized outreach program. But when we talk about winding down the show and like your part and message for Kent, because in Delaware, while it is a small state, comparably, it is a very diverse state. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about Kent, what would be your part and message to not only your DAPI daughters, but to the people that are looking at, maybe now are considering DAPI as an organization?
Mm-hmm. I would say that DAPI matters. Take your lenses off. We're changing generations. We normally say that all the time. We haven't said that, but we are truly changing generations. And we would love to have you to be a part of that. What I say to my students when I meet them and we do our acceptance or review of admission and we do our intake is, now giving up is no longer an option. So you have to go and you have to take the run and you have to do the journey, because now you have somebody sitting back and watching. It doesn't mean you can't accomplish anything. You can accomplish all of the goals that you set forth before you got pregnant. It's going to be okay, and we are here to support you, and we would love the community to support us as well.
And me and my mother will be back to do Chat and Choose.
Y'all heard that. Kent County too. Don't leave us out.
No, we will absolutely be back. Mila, what would you say to the Sussex County population and to anybody that's thinking about it, to anybody that might have been, some people probably would not have even known about DAPI. What would you tell them?
Well, we again welcome volunteers and in the community being involved in our center, coming to our center to share with our DAPI daughters, or donations. We will accept donations. Certainly we can always use help with funding. Our center is like a family. It's probably it's got a very quiet, peaceful atmosphere. The staff is very warm and supportive with the girls, but yet we have high expectations for them. So, but it has a strong family atmosphere to it.
You brought up something that I wanted to ask too. You just jogged my memory. Do you guys accept newly or gently used clothes or car seats, or a lot of times in families without a situation, we tend to pass down those things that we don't need. Do you guys accept those donations, or?
Absolutely.
We do. Okay. All right.
And then I think before also, we would love to invite everyone to our graduation as well. We have a statewide graduation that's in Kent County every year. The young ladies can participate in their home school's graduation, but I like to think that ours is better. So this year I believe it's May 21st.
We can post it.
Okay, we'll post it. But if you want to learn more, that's just another way to get to know the organization is by coming to our graduation.
And if you're just watching and you're just tuned in, you can look at the bottom of the screen. You can see the DAPI website, and obviously the DAPI, communication, and obviously the outreach. So, Arnita, what would you say? You've said a lot, but I'm focusing on you again. What would you say as a parting message to those people that either have a child or going through this situation? What would you say?
Well, I definitely will say that DAPI works. It really does. And that for DAPI, we know there are a lot of academic, options out here, but it really is a unique environment where students don't feel judged and accepted. And when you attend DAPI, teachers are able to give you that one-on-one undivided attention. So the smaller environment really helps you to build relationships and really for the teachers to hone in on assisting the students where some may need a little more help than others. And then the students that come in who are honor rolls, receiving honor classes, they're able to be challenged more. So we look at the students as a whole, and not just you're coming to get an education, but you're coming to be 100% fully supported.
And as we wind down, our fearless leader, Dr. Doris Griffin.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
It was my absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Personally, I mean that.
I want to thank Mila Hathaway for ensuring that this opportunity was brought forward. In the absence of our Director of Education, Dr. Nina Graves, she's doing a phenomenal job. She's just not given enough time to do all of the great things that we need a Director of Education to do. I have her working in another building in a classroom at this time, and that's where I needed her to be. But I would be remiss, because you've been talking about the leadership team. She's a part of this team. And so I want to make sure that her name is mentioned. I also want to give honor to our board chair, Jill DeShulo, and also thank BB Hospital, Christiana Care, and Delmarva Power for their support as well.
All right. So that's going to wind down this episode. Again, I'd like to remind our listeners that you can tune in on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and check me out on WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM. The Did You Know Show is sponsored by Always Best Care Senior Services. We provide in-home care primarily to seniors, but if you're somebody that's had a hip or knee replacement, a back injury, if you're recovering from a stroke or battling cancer, please think about Always Best Care first. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Did you know he'll help you understand? Did you know always a right-hand man? Did you know he's gonna make it clear? Did you know? Come on, listen here.
Taking care of my mother is so hard. All my life, she gave me the best care she could. Now it's my turn. I have to find my mom the best care.
At Always Best Care, our caregivers are matched to meet your needs, and we even give you access to on-call, round-the-clock physician support, along with your in-home care. If you need help with your mom or dad, call 1-302-409-3710 or visit alwaysbestcaredelaware.com.